chambers of commerce. I neglected to mention the Grimsby and District Chamber, who are here as well. So my apologies for leaving out the Grimsby. We want to make sure that we mention that they were here as well, and we thank them for their contributions and their hard work. Now, thank you. Yes. It's funny when you introduce somebody. Years ago, when you used to introduce somebody, you would have to do a little bit of research. These days, of course, you can just go on their Facebook page. So, Rhonda, all of this stuff is straight from your Facebook page. Where she was drinking the other night. I've got all kinds of stuff here. But actually, the annual State of the Region luncheon today is provided by the folks at Penn Financial. And Penn Financial has been a long-standing supporter of this event. And Penn Financial's Rhonda Maber, the Member Services Manager, am I correct in that? Is the Member Services Manager. She's going to be doing the honors of introducing our keynote speaker this afternoon. And a few words about Rhonda. Now, Rhonda is the Member Services Manager for Penn Financial and has been with the company for over 20 years, versions of the company for over 20 years. And in the industry, she leads Penn Financial's retail branch teams, fostering the culture of cooperation and collaboration, which is, of course, very important to all of us in this region. And service commitments, value discipline, consistent focus of everything they do as part of her job as they build relationships with their members to meet their financial goals. It's important. Sounds kind of like a version of what we do here for the entire Niagara region. Rhonda is also a volunteer with the Small Business Council of Niagara and an advocate of the credit union movement, obviously, across Ontario, across Canada. So please welcome Rhonda Maber to the podium. Rhonda.
But after the Facebook briefing, I'm not sure if that's appropriate. So thank you. So good afternoon and welcome on behalf of Penn Financial Credit Union. It is my esteemed pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker today. Gary Burroughs was elected Chair of Niagara Region on December 9th, 2010. Chair Burroughs has been a resident of Niagara-on-the-Lake for almost 50 years. He's had extensive experience in the private sector, having been actively involved in the hospitality industry. He was owner and president of the Oban Inn in Niagara-on-the-Lake for over 30 years. He's also a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants. Chair Burroughs has a keen interest in economic development, cross-border issues, waste management, and environmental protection. His leadership has spanned a number of years in organizations, namely as past chair of the Niagara Parks Commission, a governor at Niagara College's Board of Governors, and past chair of the Shaw Festival. Chair Burroughs was elected Regional Councillor for Niagara-on-the-Lake in the municipal election of October 25th, 2010, after serving as Lord Mayor for the town of Niagara-on-the-Lake. Please join me in welcoming Chair Gary Burroughs to deliver his State of the Region.
Sorry, just sorting out here. Throwing out, is this yours? There. Good afternoon. I'd like to certainly welcome and thank all of you for being here today. And Tim has been very helpful by thanking the sponsors and the organizers of this group. And what it meant is a lot of teamwork pulling off this event. And that's what I love to hear, partnerships and teamwork. So without going through the list again, I'd like to thank all those that played a role in allowing me to be here today to speak to you. Each year, I have the very good fortune of following the mayors at their State of the City addresses, including the Southern Tier. And what I like about it, initially the first time I wasn't too crazy about being last and all of that. What I found is they are so positive. And whether it be Thorold, Niagara Falls, St. Catharines, the Southern Tier, you need to go to those events. They're fabulous, they're positive. They talk about their own communities and how makes our community so strong. So we're not gonna get into the debate of the one city thing here. I like all those communities. I love the mayors doing such a job in bringing highlights of their community. My focus since day one was to improve communication and build trust. And for those that may have been here last year, my focus was trying to explain the region in gross terms as opposed to net terms. And so we first of all talked about last year, the $803 million budget and what that meant. It's a big business. There are things that the region does for the province that we need to understand, and because many of the items are not done by local area municipalities. So that was last year's focus, and I was advised, I love playing with numbers, so I was advised that that's it. This year we're not talking about the numbers, and certainly if you want to see it, you can get on our website. The budget's there, it's fascinating, and please take the time. However, I have to, before I get into my main talk, I have to bring up something that I came across just 2 weeks ago, and I've been trying to get information out of Stats Canada as it relates to Niagara. And as many of you know, Stats Canada doesn't produce anything for Niagara. They don't include Grimsby or West Lincoln. And when we get unemployment numbers, when we get incoming residents, we don't have that number. And it irritates me no end. First of all, Grimsby and West Lincoln are strong partners in our 12 municipalities, and we should have them all. But we're working on that, and we're going to get it changed. Now, I did get numbers, and this is the gross versus net issue, and I want you, I can't believe them still, but I know they're true. Well, Stats Canada told me they're true. So in the last, these are gross numbers, in the last 5 years, 53,468 new residents moved to Niagara. That's a lot of people. And guess what? I've got an age breakdown as well. 25 to 44, 36%. 45 to 64, 21%. So in that working age group, more than 57% of the new residents coming to Niagara are in that. And 65 plus, and I'm sure we're all tired of hearing the oldest, sickest, whatever the other parts are that we are. The number of 65 and olders that have moved to Niagara in the last 5 years, under 10%. Not the numbers that I ever thought were going on. And we're gonna follow this up. We're gonna find out what it means to add West Lincoln and Grimsby to this very impressive number. Now, what does it mean to you? Well, if you're in business, it means new customers. It means new people in your community that you need to get to know. If you're a chamber, you want to find out who these people are. You want to get them involved. They've made the choice to move to Niagara. They, I'm sure, would love to be welcomed. And many of you probably do that already. But let's find out who they are. We're enjoying the fact that they've moved here. 53,000, most of which are of working age. And so you have a responsibility, whether it's your chamber, whether it's your business in your community, you need to reach out and say, how do we get a hold of these new people? But for the not-for-profits that are here today, that are always challenged by trying to keep their volunteers up, we've got 53,000 people moving to Niagara. We need to find out who they are. We need to find out if they're interested in volunteering, in donating. Who are these great people that have come to join us? They've come and they are going to make a difference. So That's all I'm gonna say, but the numbers are terrific. And we need to, you need to find out who they are, and let's get them involved in our future. I have three themes in this year's speech. First of all, our new attitude, approach, and landscape at the region, community investment, and activating Niagara for GO commuter rail service. Is that me or? A new landscape at the region, what that means to you. Now, many of you have heard that there are changes. What does it mean to you? Well, this regional council, at the beginning of the term, wanted change. They did not want complacency. They wanted excellence and innovation, and they wanted a new way of doing business. And in the past, and I was a mayor where I think I agreed with many of you that while the region was hearing, they weren't listening. And that's what this change is about. So you're gonna see it. I think many of you have seen it already. There is change in the air. It's not in the future, it's now. So if we failed to meet your expectations in the past, I apologize for that. But we've taken a hard look in the mirror and we've turned this ship around. We're getting our house in order. And I'll mention it probably several times through my comments, but don't always I say that we're listening, we're better, we're always think. Check us out. Check us out. Make sure that in your relationship with the region, you've noticed a change. And if you don't, get a hold of us. It's important. So, we're walking the walk. We brought in new people, a new way of doing business, and you, our customer, resident, municipality, business, and investor, are the focus. Council initiated changes to NEDC, Niagara Economic Development Corporation, well over 2 years ago. And it took us a long time to get it right, but now it's done. Last summer, we shifted our focus to a one-team approach at the region, and we're taking action on that front. We're making sweeping changes, wholesale changes, probably for the first time in 40 years. Our new senior leadership is implementing these new cultural changes, and the culprit, where's Harry's? We need to embarrass him. There. Stand up, Harry. And Harry has come on board, has made a difference, has brought on some significant new senior staff, and the new team is moving forward. Don't get me wrong. We have incredible staff at the region, and we have thousands of staff at the region. And we've always benefited by having great staff. This isn't about that, it's about focus. We're now working as one team. We've changed our focus, and you are front and center. We're working closer than ever with our area CAOs, EDOs, and others as a cooperative team. So what's been done? Well, first of all, we've changed the way we approach and deliver economic development. And once again, ask the people, have you noticed the change? Don't just listen to me saying we've changed. Check us out. Check us through the many good organizations that we have. You will hear that. And actually, the last time we had economic development on our council meeting, all the EDOs were at council for the first time in recent memory, and I think that's being generous, probably the first time ever. They were all at our council meeting. And even the media picked up, not even the media, sorry, the media picked up, and the quote was, "An astounding shift that would have been unheard of 3 years ago." And just another very quick example. I was at a dinner and I was talking about some great changes in economic development, and I could see around the table that they weren't believing me. So I actually took a chance and said, well, Roy Timms is here today from NIA, and I asked him to comment, because that's what I'm asking you to do. And Roy, where are you? Can I see you somewhere? There you are. I want to thank you then and now for being involved in this change. Those are the people, those are your connections that will prove that we're making a difference. Bob Sagan is on board now, and of course, every time I get a chance to speak when Bob is here, I like to sort of embarrass him and say that if you have any problems about anything, you get a hold of Bob, just put your hand up there. He's loaded with business cards. He does take interest in our community, in our one approach. It's so important, and there's some examples that are sort of in process, but it's how nimble we are in getting. We understand something comes up, and right away there's some reaction to it from our economic development. That's not always been in the past, it is now. We're focused on an efficient one-window approach, and I think we may have said that in past years, but it is true. We've merged planning and development, and while that sounds very logical, they were housed in different departments, and the two are now one. Bringing all departments together for singular focus on the client's needs. And so you're not going to get a different response from one department over another. When you bring in an issue, when it needs to be dealt with on a regional basis, there will be a consistent message, and I think that makes for better relationships and better business. Things like business incubators and the Angel Network startup funding weren't even part of our conversation in the past, but they are now, and they're plugged into our approach. Secondly, we have key stakeholders on board, and we're creating new, effective, and innovative partnerships. The NIA, which I mentioned a little earlier, we through economic development have been working with NIA for a period of time now, helping them grow their membership, helping them provide to their members what we can do to help them grow their organization, but make better business opportunities for those in our whole community. And certainly it's been an excellent experience, and I don't have time today to get into the 1,300 growth in manufacturing jobs in 2013. There's a whole great story to that, and I appreciate the work that certainly Roy has done with NIA, and connecting with the region is the important piece. Then there's ICANN, which is Niagara Research at Niagara College. Incredible stuff going on there, and I'd like to recognize Mark Nantel and Steve Hudson. I know they're over here somewhere. There they are. Thank you very much for the work you're doing. And Brock's BioLink Incubator, which is incredible entrepreneurial talent, commercialization of innovative projects. So we're taking that step of moving innovation forward. And I'd like to recognize the Goodman School of Business Dean, Don Sayer. Thought he was, there you are. Thank you for what you're doing. Strong partnerships are about effective two-way dialogue. You're our customers, and we do care what you think. We've also established stronger, closer relationships with the Niagara Home Builders, Niagara Construction Association, Vineland Research Station, Niagara Regional Broadband Network. All of them are very exciting opportunities, and basically we're at the beginning. We have made connections. We are finding out where the region can be helpful and where we should just stay back. Both of those are extremely important, and this is a start, and we're not anywhere near done yet. I, along with senior staff, are pleased to meet with these and any other group at any time. That's a standing offer from me. If you have a problem, if you find the region's not holding up to what you wish, let us know. And it's not about complaining. I get enough of those every day. If you're trying to solve a problem, let's go at it. And I know our staff are the same. We're all very keen to help. Thirdly, we're getting our own house in order. We've consolidated our finance, made ourselves more unified and nimble. Lots of new ideas, people, and approaches at the region. And we're committed to doing business differently. We have an incredible senior team eager to contribute to the new region. They all have the one team approach, a unified, cohesive unit. Shared information, both internally and externally, and consistent message, so no different messages coming from different departments at the region for an individual that's trying to go forward. Sounds obvious, it's a change, and you will see that. So, there's a new attitude at the region, and we're hearing, not just listening, to what you have to say. Partnerships have and are being restored and improved. We're committed to consulting and engaging with you at all stages, not just after you've had a problem and a decision has been made. EDOs are aligned with us on economic development, all 5 at council. They like where Niagara's going. Just ask them. And once again, just ask them. Ask people out that are dealing with the region, have they noticed a change, and is it better? We've had very positive state of the cities in Southern Tier last week. Niagara is growing. We're positive, and it's contagious. The Canadian Motor Speedway in Fort Erie, the outlet collection in Niagara Lake, the approval of the Chicluna station in St. Catharines, massive investments in the East Canal lands in Port Colborne. And this morning, there was a provincial announcement by Minister Bradley to do with hydro, to do with one of our big industries. I don't know the detail, but that's the kind of change that we're seeing now. And it's not about taking credit. It's about making our communities more prosperous. So what can you expect at the region? Well, you're going to see some fast action. We're moving ahead very quickly. We've set the bar higher, we've changed our focus, and our council expects the exceptional, and we expect excellent. We're moving from good to great, and we need your help getting there. We're working to serve our customers better, but we need to hear from you on a regular basis. Will better regional government and financial savings come from our client-focused changes? Absolutely. We're getting leaner, more customer-focused. Harry likes to use the term laser-focused, and more business-oriented at Niagara Regional Government. So while change is happening, Council's taking action. We're not sitting back watching this happening. We're making incredibly significant investments to take Niagara well into the future. We're building a new police headquarters and District 2 in Niagara Falls and District 1 in St. Catharines. Why? To better serve residents, to better serve Niagara's millions of visitors each year, and to better serve the dedicated members of our police service and it's my pleasure to recognize Chief Jeff McGuire and Board Chair Henry D'Angelo. Could you just stand up because you're, where is it? There it is. And the whole board is there today. It's really, change is happening there too. So we are investing in that future as one. We're maintaining our essential transportation networks. The 100-year-old rebuild of the Burgoyne Bridge. Why? It's a main artery to downtown St. Catharines. Repainting the Main Street Bridge in Welland. Why? It's Welland's iconic bridge. It connects its downtown, and Welland is one of the hosts of the Pan Am Games next year. We're investing in our communities, and those of you that are from municipalities, certainly the stormwater projects and the CSO tanks, to ensure that our water is protected. Funds to preserve, protect, and ensure our beachfront properties are publicly accessible. And EMS services in Wainfleet, and we all need to know more about EMS. It's such a wonderful organization, everything from dispatch to analyzing our wait times and realizing that, for example, in Wainfleet, the times were not acceptable. Not a lot of calls, but not acceptable. EMS came up with a solution that's now really done on a pilot basis, but now has proved to be incredibly successful. Almost a roving paramedic, so they're very near. They're not an ambulance, but they're able to deal with calls in a timely fashion. And more than that, they're able to visit seniors or those that are infirm in Wainfleet, and if they're on special medications, make sure they're being done. That is how the region is becoming innovative, and really, first of all, makes a difference to Wainfleet, but it makes a difference to all of us. We're making business, doing business here easier in Niagara. We've removed the industrial DCs. We have a full-time expediter on our staff to roll out the red carpet. And boy, I had to roll out the red tape. They're not doing that anymore. No, it's roll out the red carpet for investors to have a one-window approach. And for those investors that are coming forward, I know with our new economic development department, that is making a difference. So these will happen. The gateway, and certainly Mayor Badaway was a leader on the whole gateway issue. We now have gateway CIP, Community Improvement Plan incentives, which we've got all the municipalities on site and certainly the regions on site. That also is going to make a difference. All of this while remaining fiscally responsible. And you know, when I was going over this thing, I kept thinking, it's just, there's no laughs in this. Tim, where can we laugh about this? But anyway, getting back to trying to be serious, the regional portion of your taxes has averaged 1.43 annual average increase over the term of this council. That's really good. We're doing all these other things, but we're going to make a difference. I bet you see it coming down with all the changes happening. We're investing in our communities, and obviously there's more work to be done. The private sector is delivering incredible investments in many of our communities, and we're here to help them make the ground fertile for those investments. Lastly, although it's a few pages, the last thing I want to focus on is GO Transit. And regional councilors' unanimous motion was GO commuter rail to Niagara with stops in Grimsby, St. Catharines, and Niagara Falls by the summer of 2015. 2 trains out in the morning, 2 trains in at night, rush hour. Obviously, that's the wish of council, but I think we're sitting with the converted, and I just want to talk about what this brings to Niagara. Not only the huge economic driver, no matter where go expands, whether it's north of Toronto, west of Toronto, you see the results. Stronger connections to GTA, so that when we're attracting one spouse or the other to great jobs that are happening in Niagara, there is that connection. Ability for us to get to Toronto if we're working there. We're also needing to develop a link to the new US high-speed rail system that's starting from Niagara Falls, New York, and I believe that station is starting in the spring. Those are fabulous things that are going on, and if you look at the map, one of the challenges is there's a breaking point between Hamilton and our border, and we have to fill that. That is part not only for ourselves, not only for all the people that are coming to visit our communities, but making that connection, making it vibrant, and we have all of that. You know, and I never center out people, but Minister Glenn Murray, as recently as 2 weeks ago, was talking about the canal and the bridge and the tunnel and all of that stuff. We'll never get go until we solve that. Mayor Diodati has met with both the Seaway Authority and GO and Metrolinx to understand that that is not an issue. We got to change the mentality. Stop the messaging when it's negative if it really isn't negative. We need to be part of the Metrolinx conversation, and as I've noted on Pan Am as well, all transportation issues finish in Hamilton, and they don't. Mayor Bertina is the first one to see the advantages of GO coming down to Niagara, and is very helpful in this discussion. All 12 mayors signed letters to Niagara Falls by-election candidates, and it's a unified voice. This is our #1 priority at Niagara Week 2 for those that are keeping track. And I do want to add that, you know, we do other things in Niagara Week. We're there all the time at the province. We appreciate them being involved in decisions we're making, but we're certainly focusing on GO. You may have noticed, and you certainly will notice in the near future, that we have an aggressive advocacy campaign that's on now and will be ramping up as we go forward. Why am I bringing, those are all almost automatics. We need you. We need it. The media has been absolutely fabulous talking about GO. We need now all of you to write letters. Premier Wynne, and this is interesting, Premier Wynne has made 3 GO rail service expansion announcements in recent weeks. So the time is now. We don't have any more time. We're not waiting for any more elections. We want it now. We want to be in the conversation, and we need you involved. There's many of you that have already written letters. Thank you very much, either to the region or to the Premier or to Glenn Murray. Keep that up. But each of you, talk GO. Talk it at your chamber meetings, at your association meetings, wherever it is. Talk about it at home. I see over here Mr. Social Media himself. Get it on social media. Talk about it. We need your state was great, Mayor McMullen. But you know, talking about social media, we had Mayor Augustine and Mayor Joyner that have really helped us out pushing this issue. It's going to take something from all of us to make this happen. And so, yes, write the Premier, write the media, talk about it, build it up. But when I say Niagara's time is now, let's be clear about that. We've been talking about it, I agree with it totally, but this isn't about the cost, or the canal, or even a provincial deficit. We're being led into that direction. It's about priorities. Where Niagara ranks among the existing envelope of billions that Ontario invests annually in infrastructure and transit, that's what we want to move in. That's what we want the minister and the premiers to think about. Niagara is part of that combination. At the moment, I think they've got everybody else in the whole province listed before they get to us. That's what we want. We want our priorities brought forward. We need it now. We need it for next summer. So we'll be working on that. And once again, quoting media, it says it's go time. So it is go time. We need your help. We're going to be working extremely hard on it, and we're refocusing to prioritize. Don't get wasted on bridges and all of that. So it's obviously we need you engaged more than ever. And it's from a business standpoint, from a resident standpoint, from attracting these new people that are moving to Niagara. You're the connection. Once again, that's the way it should be. But we're there to help whenever it's needed. As you can see, ways we can be better for further improve. We need to hear that too, and certainly call me, call Harry. We're interested because we don't want these negative things to go on. And we're making changes, and we this time we hear you. This time we are making a difference. So don't get me wrong, this hasn't been easy. It's taken 3 years, but we're here now. Strip out the distractions, and there are a few. Council, and we are getting things done. Council came in seeking change. We've brought in new people. We're listening, and we want your feedback. Do we argue sometimes at council? Occasionally. But we're all passionate about Niagara, about our communities, and we'll keep fighting for you, our residents, and business, because it takes strong leadership to fight the good fight. Niagara has great things going on, positive momentum. We need to hear more, and we're rebuilding the trust and confidence with all of you. We're looking outward with our focus and making inward changes to reflect that new approach. Our team at the region is committed to serving our residents and business. Our motto hasn't changed. It's building community, building lives. And that's exactly what we're focused on doing. As one team, together with you, our partners. And as I closed last year, I will close again this year. Working together works. And thank you.
Thank you, Chair Burroughs. My name is Andrew Harbour, and I am the General Manager at Abatement Technologies in Fort Erie. And I sit on the Board of Directors for the Greater Fort Erie Chamber of Commerce. We are all very excited to hear about the initiatives related to the private sector that are currently underway. As the Niagara business community, we are looking forward to working with you to ensure that these initiatives reach their full potential. On behalf of all the partnering chambers and business organizations, I'd like to present you with this gift. Along with our thanks for addressing this gathering of business leaders in business, government, community, and academia. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for that insight. I'm just going to add a number of quick thank yous before we conclude. First and foremost, the chair talked a lot about the business organizations that are involved in this, and I just wanted to say a very big thank you to our colleagues, my colleagues, at the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce, at the Niagara Construction Association, the Niagara Industrial Association, Niagara Realtors, Niagara Home Builders, West Lincoln Chamber, Niagara-on-the-Lake Chamber of Commerce, Welland-Pelham Chamber of Commerce, Niagara Falls Chamber of Commerce, Lincoln Chamber of Commerce, Port Colborne-Wainfleet Chamber of Commerce, Greater Fort Erie Chamber of Commerce, and of course the Grimsby and District Chamber of Commerce. If you could please put your hands together for a great group of individuals, volunteers, staff, and board leadership. Now, as you know, any great show has to have a fantastic MC, and it is my distinct pleasure to thank Tim Dennis, the host of The Breakfast Show. He stuck to the script. We did drills on the script, and I was always quite worried, and I had a contingency plan in the event that he would not. I just alerted the individuals behind us that they can get rid of the hook. So no issues associated with that. But Tim, you are great at what you do, and we were lucky to have you this afternoon. So thank you so much. So on behalf of the business organizations and the chair, thank you guys. Now, last but not least, before I call Tim up to close, there are two very important individuals that I get the privilege to work with each time as we plan this. That's of course Elaine Aldridge in the chair's office and Matt Robinson. They are always the individuals always the individuals behind the scene that I seem to get a lot of emails from, and within a week's period, and then I don't hear from them again. But the work that they do is really important in making things like this happen. And as the chair talked about some of the special initiatives, they are very important individuals in making sure that those things move forward. So I thank you both, and now I bring back Tim Dennis to close us off.
Now that you've said thank you, I can go off script, Keith. Yeah, thank you. Seriously, there were two things when it comes to doing something like this, living in Niagara. There's perception and there's reality. I moved away years ago when I first got out of school, but worked a little bit in the United States and other places in Ontario, but I came back. This is my home, and this is where I wanted to come back and live and raise a family. I have 6 daughters at home. 2 of them are still in school, 2 of them are working. Only one actually works outside of the Niagara region, and she's actively trying to find a job back in Niagara because she loves it here. They're between the ages of 20 and 33. The perception is that there are no young people who want to live and work in Niagara, that they're all trying to find their way out, or they're not wanting to come back in. The reality is not the case. You heard from Gary in the numbers. They are coming back here. They want to come back here. There's everything for them here. That's the reality. Our job is to change the perception. The funny thing is, I work at a job every day where I hear from thousands of people on a weekly basis who tell me what they think is wrong with Niagara and what we can do to move forward. And there's always this break between what people out there who listen to the radio say and what the government is. They think they're two different things. You stand here today and you listen to what goes on, they're not two different things. We're all pulling in the same damn direction. And what we have to do is realize that. All of us, from one end to the other, from Point Abino to Port Weller, we are all going in the same direction. And the more we realize that, the more we work together, the more we are going to realize we can get to that perception, change it, and turn it into the reality. And thank you, Gary, for what you've done for us, and thank you for being here this afternoon. Thank you for what you are all doing, because we are all going to pull this thing forward. Now, we want to thank this afternoon, Des, thank you very much. We want to thank the John Michaels Banquet Center and for being the host. It is a wonderful facility here in the heart of Niagara, here in Thorold. We thank them. We thank our sponsors today, Penn Financial Credit Union, thank you so much. Bell, Niagara This Week, Cogeco, and Sun Media, and the event organizers, the Greater Niagara Chamber of Commerce. Thank you to Walter and Keithio for inviting me to be here, and thank you so much for all of the work you're doing. Thank you for taking the time to be here and showing that you care. We will work forward. Take your time, wander around, network with people, find out how easily it is we can change that perception into reality. We'll see you next year. Thank you so much.
He's going to turn over